Good morning everyone and welcome on the Sunrise Safari. We've just done a tyre change that the Ferrari pit crew would have been impressed of. Did have quite a lot of help from James and Jamie though, but we are just putting the jack back on and we're going to get going. My name is Brent and I'm going to be your guide on the Sunrise Safari here on Djuma Private Game Reserve. I have Andrew on camera and James and Jamie will be out on tracking team trying to help me find. Unfortunately, we still only have one vehicle. A very professional car doctor is coming today, who will make all of our mechanical knowledge look insignificant. So hopefully he'll have both vehicles up and running by Sunset Safari. And also don't forget, today is Fireside Chat, and we'll be discussing what's happened during the week. So we are now more or less ready, hopefully, to continue. And move the seat back. We've got earpieces. Okay, let's get going. Sorry about that. So one of the joys of being live is the fact when we have a flat tire, it has to be done with immediately. And with only one vehicle out, you have to deal with us. Just finishing off the change there. So, but the nice thing about being live is we're also interactive. You are able to ask us questions about what we're seeing on the safaris, and you can do that by sending us an email, and the email address is questions@WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag SafariLive if you're on Twitter. So let's get out there and see what we can find. So last night at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard some lions roaring. Hang on guys, just got to say good morning. Morning everyone! So we're going to go head up to the northern boundary and head down towards the eastern boundary and see if we can find any tracks. Hopefully those lions that were making a noise last night have decided to grace us with their presence. But a beautiful morning here. You can see it's getting quite warm. I'm not bedecked in gloves as I usually am, so quite pleasant. Hopefully the worst of our winter is over. So I'm just going to get a hold of the Game Drive channels so I can see what's happening out there. Unfortunately, I normally do that before we go live, but this morning, obviously, we were under a bit of time constraints with our record-breaking tire change. Morning mobile stations, route and updates, please. Hello. We've got lion tracks here, right on quarantine clearings. And they're heading up the road, so we're definitely going to follow up on those. As you can see, looks like an adult male, possibly a female. Let's see where these lead us to. Stations is in Konzo of Bengala, heading west on Buyatala access. I'm going to be following. Copy, thanks. So 10 degrees Celsius, 49 Fahrenheit, so a little bit warmer than it has been. You can see the lions actually slept here. So for those of you new, you'll notice my head peering over the side of the vehicle. And what I'm doing there is just checking where the tracks went, making sure they don't move down another road, but here they continue on. So as in Swahili we would say, moja kamoja, which means straight ahead. lay down again here. I'm not going to stay on these now. We want to get on the tracks quickly. There's another vehicle following, says they've turned off to the south, so we're going to check here. Maybe they're heading towards Impala Plains. So I'm just going to chat to the other vehicles who are helping me follow up on these lines. Diana. Confirm you want me to check the power lines? Copy, thank you. I've got tracks on the power lines heading west. So what's happening now is the other vehicles are out. We're fanning out in sort of a three-pronged attack. We're in the center on the tracks, and we've got two vehicles either side of us, seeing if they don't wander off in those directions. Still here and still going almost due west at the moment. So the rising sun is coming up behind us, throwing this beautiful soft light. So a few of you might have noticed where we started this morning, there was a fence next to us, and Maggie was wondering whether that stops the animals going to certain parts of the property. Maybe that's just a fence around the owner of Djuma's house, to stop the lions coming and visiting him while he's relaxing at home. So the tracks aren't here anymore. Just give me a second, guys. I just need to concentrate a little bit. I didn't see where they went off the road. What we're going to do is we're going to check Impala Road that's right here. I think they might have cut the block like that. Always want to double check. I think they might have come down this big game trail here. Oh dear. No tracks yet. I'm going to check a little bit further. There's another game trail there. Otherwise I need to go back to where we saw the last tracks and have a proper look on the ground. No. They have come back and they have jumped around and met here. See, Andrew can show you there's tracks going in all directions. I'm just going to jump out of the vehicle and try to figure out which way they went last. You can see it looks like they've been playing here. You can see lots of scuff marks jumping. Now one of the more important little animals when you're tracking is a dove. And you can see there's a nice very fresh dove track from this morning. So now I'm going to try to see whether that dove track is on top of the lion tracks. So they've played around here, but it does look like they've crossed into this block here. I'm just going to call it in on the radio and send the other vehicle down towards the boundary between Djuma and Arathusa. I'm going to carry on. I think they might loop back towards the road. If not, we'll cut through to the boundary between Djuma and Arathusa and drive up the boundary to see if we can find any tracks. So, excuse me for 2 ticks while I'm on the game drive radio. Yana and Konzo of Izangala heads west into the block, about off from Parlour Road, about 100 meters to the south of junction with the power lines. If you can check power lines down to the Arathusa where telebrake. They could still be quite close, so I'm looking very carefully into the bush to the west of me here. Quite a lot of zebra tracks in the area as well. I wonder which lions these could be. Definitely looks like a pride. Copy, thanks Orbs. I'm going to check Kampala Road through to Triple M and then head north. Andrew, I hope your cat spotting eyes are on today.
That they are.
Diana, the Nkonzo crossed straight west between into that little drainage line just to the south of the power lines. Then check Impala Road through to the break, and then head north on Triple M. Aubrey's coming south from Ricari Gate. And from about 100 meters further south of where you are, they cross west into the block. So if you check power lines down to the break. So we did have a tyre change this morning, and Reese is actually asking, have I ever had to change a tyre in front of animals? Reese, unfortunately I have. I've had to do it in front of lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, and of course the normal ones, giraffe, zebra, impala. Being out in the bush and going off-road after these wonderful animals that we follow on a daily basis does unfortunately lead to quite a few flat tires. I still quite vehemently proclaim that I'm the only one who hasn't had to change a tire. This obviously was James's fault and whatever James did last night, and that I arrive in the morning and I get a flat tire that was overnight flat, so definitely James's fault. James and Scott seem to like the exercise of changing a tire. Myself, I prefer not to change a tire. But obviously, I have had quite a lot of practice at it. Once when I was driving from the bustling metropolis of Maun in northern Botswana up to the concessions that my family used to have right up in the north of the country, we used to carry 2 spares. And on that particular day, we had 5 flats. So we actually changed the protocol because it's about 250 kilometers, which doesn't sound that far. But that 250 kilometers generally takes about, depending on the time of the year, 7 to 9 hours. So it is quite an ordeal, and a lot of that is spent in low range second gear. Sorry guys. Okay, so I've just heard from Aubrey, the tracks of those lines have crossed into Arathusa. So we're going to make our way to where they crossed and we're going to cross across with them into Arathusa. But yeah, so I've had lots of flat tires, and you get quite good at quick changes, especially when you're surrounded by a herd of about 100 elephants. But it is quite exciting to change a tire in those situations. I'm just going to quickly chat to Orbs quickly, see exactly where those line tracks crossed, and then we're going to follow. Morning, Orbs. Morning, 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 everyone. Station's only crossing west. Okay, so unfortunately I have to go through the whole radio procedure again as I'm crossing across to Arathusa, which is on a different channel, and I've got to do the same updates again, so I do apologize about that, but we'll be back with you shortly, and hopefully we'll be fresh on the trail of these lines, which it is right in the corner. Even with our western boundary at Arathusa, I'm hoping they've cut more to the southeast once they've crossed the road. And they've crossed the road just behind us there. I saw the track, so I'm looping around to the next road that gives us access into Arathusa. Morning, mobile stations. Brent from Wild Earth crossing. Are there any updates for Safari and Dal, please? Standing by. Just on those Nkonza now, they've crossed west into Safari and Dal around the power lines junction. I'm going to check parallel to the south now. So we're going to be checking really carefully now for tracks. So I'm not 100% sure which lines we're following. I've got a sneaky suspicion that it could be the Styx Pride. So we're checking now. I'm just going to jump up here and sit up on the door. It gives me a bit of a higher vantage point. It's quite a hard road, so I want to make sure I don't miss any tracks. So the track should come about opposite from here. Figure it out. It should be around here that they pop up on the road. If not, they could be in this really small block just to the east of us. no trucks yet. That's not to say they haven't moved through the block. There's no trucks crossing across, which is positive because we know they're between the Triple M brake and parallel road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go just forward a little bit ahead here and turn off the car and I'm going to listen. Of course, unless the tracks pop out. There's some Impala off to the right here. They are looking a little bit jumpy. You can hear some oxpeckers up ahead of us. They might just be waking up. They might not be on any animals just yet. So we're going to listen for a little longer, and then we're going to move around to the next road that cuts off to the east. And if we find no tracks over that period, then we'll go back to the last tracks. We can't hear anything at the moment, so we're going to start up and head off. Keep a close eye out on the road for tracks. And we know that lions can walk, when they decide to, incredible distances, especially with the Birmingham boys around. I think a lot of the lion prides will be trying their best to avoid any possible confrontation with those male lions. So guys, I'm just listening to the other updates on the Game Drive radio. on the radio for a second. Sorry, last station, can you confirm that's the Nkonzo that came from Vuyatela? Copy, confirm they're on Sibambili. Okay, well that's a little bit disappointing. They've crossed that road. They're very close to where we last had tracks. It seems like they've walked behind us. So while we were checking this road, they've come onto this road behind us and headed the opposite direction, out of our Travis area. We're going to go check if we can get a glimpse from the boundary road, but it is quite unlikely, unfortunately. Other than that, we're going to stick to the original plan and head back into Djuma and see what we can find in the north and the east. So what I can hear is that they're in a very deep drainage line and they don't have a very good view. They can only see sort of a tail in the bottom of one, in the bottom of a very steep drainage line, just across our western boundary on Arethusa. Nice. Young male kudu. There's an older one up in the road. There you go, browsing off a bush willow. So the lion tracks we were following, Andrew and John are wondering which lion pride this might be. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to let the guys try establish the sighting. Even though it is off our Traverse area, we'll let them establish the sighting before I start bothering them and asking them which lion pride it is. So I will try find out shortly. I'll just let the guys settle down and enjoy those lions for a few minutes and find a way to get into that drainage line to view them before we start peppering them with questions. Sneak forward a bit. There's a bit of a bigger male. He looks like he might be out in the open a little bit more. Also feeding off a bush willow or a combretum. Beautiful corkscrew horns, spiral horns, which lets us know which family they're in, and the truffle-legged family or spiral-horned antelope. Quite often in certain parts of South Africa called the grey ghost. It's said for every kudu you see there's 4 you don't. for such an incredibly big antelope, they do have an incredible knack of being able to just sort of melt into the ether. Okay. I haven't quite given up on those lions yet. It sounds like they are moving and could be heading southeast, which would mean they would move back into our Travis area. I'm going to just go close to that area and see if we have a little bit of lion luck this morning. Sorry guys, there's a lot of traffic on the Game Drive channel, and I'm just trying to figure it out. There's quite a few different people talking, so I'm just trying to figure out which direction those lions are heading, and then I'll be back with you. I'm going to be on the Game Drive channel for a second again. Station controlling that Ndala sighting. Does it look like they're going to cross into Safari and Ndala at all? Copy, confirm if there aren't Safari and Ndala. I'd like to take a standby for that position, please. Okay, copy, thanks. I'm going to be heading back north. Okay, so it doesn't sound like it sounds like they've changed direction. They've moved away from our western boundary for Safari and Ndala. So I'm going to go back across into Djuma and stick to my original plan. I'm quite sure that these weren't the lions I heard roaring at around 2 a.m. while I was suffering from a small bout of insomnia. So let's go back and have a look on Djuma on the northern boundary down towards the eastern boundary. Lisa G was wondering about that Nkarumah lioness who got killed by the Birmingham boys, and she's wondering will we be able to have access to the autopsy results from that lioness. Lisa, I'm not 100% certain. We can ask. Whether they decide to release those results or not is obviously up to the state vet, so I can make some inquiries. But even then, those results will only be ready in a couple of months. They'll be heading off to Onderstepoort, the big veterinary department of the University of Pretoria, for tests. So obviously there's a lot of wondering and going on about what's happening with those Birmingham boys and their possible takeover of the Matimba male territory. Miss Jin from Texas is wondering if I've ever seen a male lion coalition take over prides without killing the cubs. Miss Jin, unfortunately not. It is a part of nature that as soon as they do take over a pride or an area, they will immediately kill the cubs. And what this does is it makes the females come into, or initially a false estrus, and then from there into a full estrus, so they can then propagate their genes rather than the genes of the predecessors. So unfortunately not. It is very much part of lion dynamics and social behavior to remove the last set of cubs. So the lions are that way, about a kilometre and a half from where we are now, unfortunately just beyond our reach for now. But we must remember, for every animal that walks off, hopefully there's two that walk in. So with new males coming into an area, there's going to be quite a lot of havoc around for the next few months. You'll quite often find that prides will be split, sometimes into two, sometimes into three. You might even find a single lioness by herself, and two over there and three over there, and they're all just trying to avoid those marauding males. And sometimes this can cause breakaway prides to form, but normally those prides will come back together. When prides form breakaway prides and whatnot, it's more to do with pressure, or if a female's got cubs of around the sort of year age, she might break away to avoid the new coalition coming in. But that is less usual. Normally when pride breakaways form, it's when a pride gets really, really big and there's too much competition for food. So I'd rather break away to have a better chance at finding enough resources to keep them sustained. So chatting about prides that break away from their natal territories, Natasha on Twitter is wondering about 3 sub-adult lions we saw on drive, and we actually saw them right here where we are at this very moment, and they are known as the Shimungwe pride, and she's wondering if there's been any updates on them and why would there be 3 sub-adults by themselves. So Natasha, what's happened is the majority of that pride, which was originally a pride I used to know a long time ago called the Castleton pride, the majority of them was initially killed by the Mapocho, female and male alike, and then later the Majinga lions also then killed quite a few of them, and those are the 3 surviving members of that pride, and they've become completely nomadic to just avoid all the different male coalitions, bless you Andrew, in the area. So they were up here in the north, and as far as I know, they as far south as you can get in the Sabi Sands at the moment, near the Kruger boundary near Skakuza. So they basically just jump all around the Sabi Sands at the moment. They've even gone into the Manyeleti, and that's to try avoid all the different male coalitions. The likelihood of that pride surviving, unfortunately, is very little. They've got 2 young females and a young male by the looks of things, that, if I remember correctly from what we saw. So not much chance of them making it through. So we're just bypassing now sort of the Sabi Sands offices where the ecologists and and whatnot live, and the tractors and different earth moving equipment. And we're going to move onto the northern boundary now and start heading east. So guys, I've got to go through a little dip here. We might have a little bit of break up in signal, so I'll get through it as fast as possible. Sorry, Sima, can you go with that update again, please? Copy, I'm on Gallagher Shortcut. I'd like to join you. Sorry guys, I've got to go quite quickly. It seems like some different lines have been fired and they're on the move, so I'm going to have to go put my foot down a little bit to get there. So bear with me, it's going to be a little bit bumpy for a while. So I'm just going to be on the radio for a second if I get a chance. time for a Ferrari safari. So, lions, I wonder who can figure out which lions they are. By all means, try to guess which lions we are rushing to see. You can do that by emailing us questions at WildEarthTV, or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Which lions are we on our way to see? I assume a confirmed best approach will be from Zoe's Balanites. Copy, thank you very much. So it looks like these lions are mobile, following a very similar direction to the following all morning. Andrew, you holding on? Yeah. There we go. We still have Andrew, aka the Opfog. Present. I haven't managed to bounce him off the back just yet, but the driver's but young. So it looks like these lions are heading directly after the other lions. So I wonder who it could be. We're back on the other lion tracks that we started following this morning. We have some excitement. I think it's going to be very interesting, and it ties in so nicely to what we've been chatting about all morning. I mean, we started the morning on lion tracks, and now we are rushing to see some lions, and with all the really interesting lion dynamics that are happening at the moment, this sort of is quite ideal, so we can continue and go more in depth in that conversation. And I think it's going to be quite a warm day today. I think we're going to be losing layers far faster than we have been. Nearly there, guys. So we're almost there. We're going to start slowing down shortly and starting to scan for the different animals. I'm standing by at Ballinati's junction with Zoe's near the Oldham Nisi car. Hold on, they're just ahead down here somewhere in this drainage line. Andrew, keep looking for lions or even possibly a game drive vehicle or two. There we go. I spotted a game drive vehicle. Must remember we don't have a spare tire today. Morning guys, thanks very much. Sorry? Okay, whoopsie, hold. There we go, bounce, bounce. Over the tree. Here we go, I've just had a brief visual behind the termite mound. Thanks a lot guys. So there we go, that's one of the Matimba males. And apparently there are some Styx lionesses ahead. Oh, he's got a thorn in his foot. And there's a woodpecker really giving that marula tree a good pounding. Okay, guys, they're going in some thickets, so we're going to have to try and stick with them. But really exciting. So I'm pretty sure the other tracks we're following then are more than likely the Inkahumas, and this is possible. But I will try to find out a little bit later. I can see the lionesses. If you look up ahead in the distance, I'm going to try, bless you Andrew, I'm going to try leave these males here and get around to the females. I wonder if the cubs are actually here as well. I don't think anyone's seen them, so they might have been left somewhere hidden away. So hold on guys. Okay guys, I'm going to just let everyone know where the lions are heading to. Yours, if you're on quarantine, come down to Philemon's dip and then take, well, I know it is Rebecca's, it cuts to the sort of west from quarantine, just after, from Philemon's dip. Animals are mobile, due east at the moment towards that road, and general direction is quarantine. So we go, 3 Styx lionesses, looking a little hungry. So possibly on the hunt this morning. But very typical lion behavior happening here. walk, lie down, walk, lie down. The Matimbas are on their way through now. It seems like he's got a little limp. Ginger Matimba, and Hairy Belly is just beyond them. Wonderful to be able to catch up with these guys. I was wondering when they might come back, especially now that I've just heard the Birminghams are much further to the north, so this is sort of a safer area, and that's why probably the Nkuma and the Styx Pride have made their way here. Okay. Try to find a nice open area to drive through, keeping parallel with them. But you must remember we don't have a spare tire today, so I've got to be extra careful. Just going to try and move around ahead, keeping up with them, and we can do the stop and view them as they walk towards us. Sorry guys, I'm the only vehicle left with the line, so until the other game drive vehicles get you, I am unfortunately going to be on the radio a little bit. Standing by, Craig. If you get onto Rebecca's, probably 200 meters from the junction with that drainage line joining Philemon's dip on the northwestern side of the drainage line. The animals are still mobile, almost due east. Copy, my vehicle's off now. I'll listen for your audio. Yours, I'm probably due south of you now, just on the edge of the drainage. Here we go. Andrew. It's amazing how she's walking. She seems to be leading the charge, not lying down as much as the others, stopping and checking around, see if there's any possible prey species. She actually lifts her nose there and tests the air, see if she can pick up the scent of any potential prey species. Oops, sorry. Walking right past the front of our vehicle. So it looks like I can't see any visible injuries on any of the lionesses so far. So they must have managed to skedaddle before the Birminghams got to them. It's possible the cubs might be here. You hear that little contact call? Just listening, seeing what's going on. Hey firm Craig, well it looks like they might get stationary now, but if you come on, or Finn's, Rebecca's, you should see where yours tracks leave the road. We're just on the edge of the drainage line there. So you can see a little bit hungry. Obviously been quite a stressful time for these lions in the last while, with the Birmingham boys chasing them off that buffalo kill. Here comes the next lion here, Sandra. You can see how close she is to us, right in front of the vehicle. Takes absolutely no notice. And where are the lazy boys? I'm sure they'll be following slowly behind. There we go. So this is very, very typical lion behavior. Walk, lie down for a little bit, continue to walk.
Coming on that side.
Thanks very much. And you can see Yors is out enjoying the bush with us today. And he's just spotted over my back. It looks like the hairy-bellied Matimba. He suddenly ended up on the wrong side of the drainage line. That's what happens when you don't keep up with the ladies. He is a magnificent specimen of male lion, even though he is starting to feel the pressure from those marauding young Birmingham boys. Andrew, keep a lookout for the ginger. He might be after you. Where's Mr. Ginger? You can see he's scent marking on those quarry bushes. The lionesses are up on the move again. Let's just move forward a skosh. Get him out from behind those bushes. I think what we're going to do is do what we've been doing, loop around so we can spend some quality time with them. It is getting quite thick up ahead, so let's see if we can keep up with them. I'm quite sure Ginger's going to appear somewhere behind us shortly, but I really want to be up at the head in case they do decide to hunt something. Like the lionesses are lying down, or two of them are. All three are there actually. Let's go see if we can get in there. Hopefully the males might come join them shortly. It's getting warm quite quickly, so and possibly not going to be as active as long as they have been, but who knows, maybe today is just a warmer day, and we could easily have another cold snap at some point. Sorry about that, Andrew just using some compressed air to keep the lens as clean as possible to give you guys the best picture possible. Still on the move. Where are the big males there? At the back somewhere? Especially as the day warms up, it's going to be walk, lie down far more frequently, and I think it is getting warm enough that they might even consider hanging around for a bit. So I'm sure those two males are slowly mobile towards us. Hopefully they'll pop out shortly. Looks like yours is going to go have a look where they are. Here comes one of the males now. Just see him through the bush. So I'm just going to have a quick chat to Craig. Sorry, Craig?
Did you see them when they were on safari? I'm just wondering if these wounds on this lioness here is from Birmingham's or if there was another altercation somewhere on that side.
I don't know. I didn't think the tracks we were followed this morning across into Arethusa or into Sibambili were these guys.
No, apparently there were guys that were talking in the east and there's tracks coming north.
So there's another set of tracks that come across the Buffelshoek break, down onto quarantine onto power lines
All along central.
straight into Sibambili.
That's in Djuma.
That's what I think. I think that's the Nkuhumas that have gone into Sibambili. Our comms are quite bad that side, so I couldn't hear what the guys were saying. I know they found them, but I think that's the Nkuhumas, especially if we've got the sticks here. Looks like she spotted something. It could possibly be an impala or something on the other side of the drainage line.
These lioness definitely look a little bit back to the room. Like I say, this one here is a couple of puncture marks on the ground.
Let's just reposition quickly. I now know what she spotted. A little scrub head disappeared out of the bush just in front of her at very high speed. Looks like she's going to sniff.
I have had a run-in with this pride, the sticks pride and these males.
So obviously the Styx Pride do have those 3 little cubs, and Christy in California is wondering, where are the cubs? Christy, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It is possible that the female with the cubs might not even be here. She might still be further to the east with the cubs, and this is the other 3 members of the Styx Pride. Now, there should be 4 lionesses, so one is missing. So I might ask Craig in a second if he has heard anything about where the female with the cubs are. And Andrew is trying to find the male behind that bush. He is there. You can just make him out to the right of that tree. And Susie was also wondering about the cubs and whether lionesses ever forget where they put the cubs. Not in my experience. They generally have a good idea of the area that they leave the cubs. I think that contact calling we saw a little bit earlier was possibly more for the other females than it was for cubs, but it was a really nice little soft ow, ow, which is a very distinct lion contact call. Craig, has anyone seen the cubs?
No. That's what I'm trying to find out, if there's
Any report of them? So there we go, guys. Craig is going to try to find out from the Eastern Channel if anyone's seen the other lioness and the cubs. I haven't seen whether one of these females is the lactating female yet, but we will keep a good look out. The 2 to the left of us definitely aren't.
morning show. I just want to find out when last year you
So obviously being a little lion cub and left alone in the bush for long periods of time, it can be quite dangerous. So Tina on Twitter is wondering whether they instinctually know to keep quiet. Most definitely, Tina, they're pretty much curled into little balls and they keep very quiet and sleep most of the time. As they get a little bit older, they sometimes can get a little bit more boisterous and playful and move a little bit from the areas, but generally they will keep very quiet and sort of undercover to avoid other predators like other lions and hyenas and leopard.
But apparently they might have had a run-in with them Kahumas last night.
Sure. So just an update from Craig there. Apparently the sticks might have had the sticks females might have had a run-in with them Kahumas. The lioness that's lying in front of Craig, we haven't had a good look at yet, but he says you can see some bite marks or puncture marks on her bottom. Nothing too serious, but and there's two prides that both fall sort of under the Matimba's jurisdiction, for lack of a better word. But as you said, the females will fight amongst each other for territory. And obviously the Nkuhumas and Sticks are all feeling quite a lot of pressure at the moment because of the Birminghams. So male lions moving into are not the only threat when they move into these areas. From a lion point of view, it does cause a lot of sort of crossover between the female prides, which can put pressure on them and makes life very difficult if you are a lion or lioness at the moment.
Should have been line with this lioness. Let's turn my phone. Where have you seen them? Up in the bush. It's Ginger, the lighter one. Now I've got one with fuzzy here. There's two down here and the two my daughters. I heard now they've got tracks of another female heading on Little Gowrie driveway. That's where they think the cubs are.
Oh, so there we go. There's a Craig. Just hear Craig talking next to me here. There's a bit of an update. They have got tracks of a single female to the south of us in the Mawati, where they think the cubs have been hidden. So as far as we know, the cubs did escape from the interaction with the Birmingham boys, and they have been seen since then. So it is. I don't think those cubs are dead yet, but as I say, I know it's very sad, but the possibility, or the probability rather, of those cubs surviving through to adulthood in this current situation with the current lion dynamics is very, very slim. I'm just going to try and move around so we can have a look at the hairy bird in the timber. The ginger is apparently lying up over there behind the termite mound. So let's see what we can sneak through here. And remember, we've got to be very careful because we started the morning with a flat tire and we don't have a spare. Oop. Over the stick. Oh, and the other female is moving. This is the female that seems to have some puncture wounds on her. I'm just trying to get us into a position where we can see her a bit better. Should pop up right just over my shoulder here, coming through the bush there. And let's try and have a close look to see if she does have any visible injuries. She doesn't look to be walking too badly. Sorry guys, we're on a very steep slope here, so that might look a little bit wonky, but it's not. And you can see there is some puncture wounds on her bottom there. You can see a little bit of blood. Nothing too serious. I don't think. It looks like more of a little scrap. Let's try to get into a position where we can have a better look. How's that, Andrew?
That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, she's lying with her head facing us, so we can't really see. They are on the edge of a drainage line, so it can be quite difficult to maneuver in and around here.
So they always kind of...
And she's playing with a stick, so I don't think she's in too bad a nick. I think it looks like more of a little scrap. That's her. I definitely did see a bite mark on her bottom. Looks to maybe possibly be one on her right shoulder as well. You can see just where that sun is hitting, it looks like a little bit of blood on her neck there. As it doesn't look like she's walking with too much difficulty and whatnot, so even if there is anything, it is not too serious. So as I just mentioned, a few of the viewers have also noticed those puncture wounds and scratch marks on her back and wondering what could have caused it. And as I said earlier, from what we heard, they had a run-in with the Nkahuma Pride. So it was lionesses fighting with lionesses, not the Birmingham boys. And because of the upheaval caused by the Birmingham boys, this is why there's a stronger likelihood of all these type of interactions happening as lions are pushed into territories or areas they don't want to be, trying to avoid the new male coalition that is moving in.